Hi, in this video we're going to look at how to work with footers in Google Sites. Now this was a capability that wasn't really originally available with Google Sites, but has been added and is extremely useful. You want to use a footer to include standard information on every page of your site. And using a footer, you'll be able to do this by doing it in one place, and it will automatically appear on all the pages of the site. So the first thing to consider is what type of information would that be? For purposes of this project, you want to focus on three things. On each page, you want to identify yourself as the author of the site. You want to include an email link so that someone can contact you. Now, this doesn't have to be your school email address, your official Ramapo email address, although they can be if you choose to. You could use your MSET address, any address that you want to, but hopefully one that you're either going to check occasionally or you're going to have forwarded to another address, so that if someone does contact you about the site, that you'll actually get that message. And the third thing is going to be a disclaimer. This should appear on every page, and this is required, and we'll provide that for you. The text is available. So in order to get the disclaimer, what you want to do is you want to go to Course Resources, Course Tools, and you'll notice the last file down at the bottom, or maybe near the last file by the time all the resources are posted, is going to be one with the words disclaimer text in it. And when you open that up, the text will be right there for you. So this is a simple copy and paste. It's these last two lines down here. This project contains academic projects meant for student learning. This site is not for profit and does not imply endorsement by any company or educational institution. So this is text that should be at the bottom of each. So I'm just going to copy that. Control C, or however you want to do it. Now, I've come to Google Sites, and it's listing out my sites here, so let me open one. And in order to take advantage of this footer option, we're going to have to scroll to the bottom of any one of my pages. So you can see that I have a home page, I have a page called Science Lessons, I have a page called Students, which has two pages nested underneath it, and one for Parents. So it doesn't matter. I can do this on my home page, but I could just as easily do it on this Parents page or one of these subpages in the Students section. You basically scroll to the bottom. If you mouse over the very bottom, you're going to get this Edit Footer option, and when you click that, you're going to be inside a little box at the bottom. The box is going to have a font size set to small automatically, which is very appropriate for a footer. Here you could change it to a subheading or a heading or normal text or something, but generally in a footer, to indicate that this is documentation or an addendum to the web page or the website, that's generally done in this small size. So why don't I start out with just pasting in that disclaimer. Now you can see that the disclaimer came in as normal text. So first thing I probably want to do is take that and set it to that small size. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down a little bit because I want to get that author information and contact information above that. So you can come in here and put that in first and then copy in the disclaimer information, or just organize and make room for it. Okay, now site designed and maintained by R. Ciora. Okay, so I've identified myself as the author. And you can do this in whatever way you're comfortable, whether it be full first name and last name or some kind of abbreviation like this. But you should be credited with the site. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to maybe in parentheses put my email address so that's obvious. So rciora@ramapo.edu. Now this may not and probably won't be turned into a link automatically, but you can highlight that text, and when you hit the hyperlink, it is smart enough to recognize a pattern and should create the email address for you. If for some reason it doesn't, you can go to Edit and note the format of a email link. The way an email link is identified on a web page is it starts with the words mail to with the space removed. So MAILTO : and then without a space, the actual email address. And that's what makes this function as an email link. That mail to : no space, and then the appropriate address. Okay, so if for some reason it doesn't create it, and it really should, but if it doesn't, that's how you fix it. You change it to that format. Now notice in this particular design, it's not super obvious. It's underlined, but it's not super obvious that's a link. And that's why I really want something in an email format out on the page so that it's obvious. If I had simply created my name as the email link, that would be fine. And people who were a little sophisticated would know to look in the footer, might see that was underlined and assume that was an email link for you. But it could also be missed. So getting that email link out on the page is a good practice. Now you can see that you also have some basic editing tools. If you feel that you need them, you can make them into a list. You could change the alignment, so you could put things, in the center or whatever, however you wanted it. No need to. I mean, you can do it as simply as this. If there is formatting you want to do, it's available to you there. Okay, now that my footer information is on one page, I can check out to see that it's on other pages. So let me go to this class rules page under students. Scroll to the bottom, and there you can see it. That footer has followed me to this page, and if I go to science lessons, it's there as well. Another way to check is simply to click the eyeball. So now you're going to this preview mode, and you can see that it's there, and you can see that as I move around on the site, it's on all the pages. Of course, something you want to do, right now you can see all this because you're logged in and you're previewing it under your login, etc. But to make this visible to me and to everybody else in the world, remember you're going to have to republish. Otherwise, it's only you that's going to see those changes. Okay, so that's about it for footers. They're very, very simple, but they're very, very useful. Let me know if you need any help or have any questions about that.